let's talk about a big market. Let's just say there's a personal injury attorney. They have a good budget. They want to go into a market like Houston, right? You got
I
Mr.
knew you were
Jim
going to say
Adler
that.
there. We've got Thomas J. Henry kind of floating over there. What kind of considerations for that individual that wants to target a big DMA? What should they be thinking about? Capital?
Capital, that's the answer. Your capital essentially for how you're going to execute these plans. And you not only have to plan out for a month or 2 months, you have to be looking years down the line that you can commit to that level of spending. Because in the Houston DMA, it is not cheap to go in to the broadcast TV landscape. It's not cheap to go into, the billboard landscape. Yes, you get one or two, but one or two isn't going to cut it when you're basically at, it's not the personal injury mecca, but man, the condensed amount of attorneys within one geographical location. The audience, the actual residents of that DMA, they could pick from a variety. You have to be memorable. You have to be different. You have to go at it from an angle of breaking from the noise. Dude, I mean, you're looking at a monthly investment of $350,000 or more. I mean, and that's just off the top of my head.
Let me talk, just in general about like just the positioning of buys, right? So it's not even just the station, it's like what time. I heard this recently where like the weather channel, like you want to be on before the weather, and like after the weather, everybody drops off. So talk about like just some of these nuanced things. Like, is it best, if you're only gonna get one Price is Right, you're at the very end? Like what are some of the nuances? Like, let's get really granular.
If you're on broadcast television, your primary focus should be on those daytime direct response hours, having those phones ringing while your office is open. And the reason why I think it's so important to kind of hammer this piece home is because if I'm sitting there and I'm hurt, I want to talk to somebody who's actively in the law firm office. I don't know if after hours, if it's a call center service, is it somebody who's by themselves in the building? Is it because I know I'm not going to talk to the attorney? I know they're not there right now. And even if you never get to talk to the attorney on your first phone call, I think that it says something just knowing that the building is open, that they are actively taking calls, and they took your call with care and compassion. So daytime hours for the bulk of your buy, and then you expand outwards. So daytime being 9A to 5P. Why 9A? If you're hurt or, from an accident, whether it be or workers' comp, whatever, I don't think you're going to be up watching the 7 a.m. news or the 5 a.m. news. You
Fair
could be
point.
just from a lack of sleep, but that's not the main audience at the time. The main audience that those commercials hit are those people who are getting ready for work. They're putting their kids in their car. They are active. They're watching the weather. They're hearing the highlights of the news before they head out to work that day. Your ad really would just be kind of white noise. And could it be hitting a couple of people who might be awake? You want the mindless television. You want the 9A to 5P. Not only that, it is, you're paying a premium for 7A to 9A. Those, especially on CBS, ABC, and NBC, those are your national news times, and that comes at a premium. You want to have a healthy saturation level within those time periods, meaning you want to make sure that you're covering certain hour blocks. You don't want to have, you're okay, I've got spots over here airing from 9 to 10 and then 10 to 11, but then I'm nowhere seen until 3 to 4. No, no, no. You want to have a presence on some broadcast network during every hour block. And that just speaks to good reach and frequency. But ultimately, as it being the bulk of your buy for your direct response calls and putting in front of viewers that messaging of that urge, that CTA call to action, that's going to be the bulk.
That's great stuff. Thank you. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, if I'm injured, I'm not like getting up super early. I'm probably sleeping in that day.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in terms of like average CPMs just in general, and then types of stations?
If I'm going into a local DMA and any DMA, if I were to average them all out, at the end of the day, you're looking for something around a $6 cost per thousand. 5 years ago, I would have said $5 cost per thousand. That was kind of, my standard. You're going to come in below that in some markets. You're going to come in over that in some markets. So when you see stations, when request for proposals that come through and they've got $12 cost per thousand, $17 cost per thousand. No way, man. No.
Are
And
they just juicing the margins? Are they negotiating with stations and they're selling a 12 so that they're splitting with the buyer on the 6? Is that what they're doing plus that 15%?
no, what they're doing is they don't think that you know what you're doing. So they're testing you right out the gate. They're going to be sending you the highest price point, and then they're going to be betting or saying, okay, are they gonna lower this down? Are they going to try and negotiate with me? How far down can they go? So they know their bottom line. But like, I love negotiating. I love to sit on the phone and talk to reps and say, no, 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 tell me the truth. Where is it? And am I going to get like 90% clearance? Am I going to get
What's that mean?
20% clearance? So the amount of spots that are preempted. So when you are negotiating and you are dead set, let's say they offered you a spot for $100, and based on your calculations, you're not taking anything less than 50. Well, the rep's like, I'll give you it for $50, but you're never going to see any airtime, meaning your spots are never going to run. So what good is it at that point? However, you have to be able to gauge the BS factor, if I may say that. You have to know that they're going to try and scare you and say like, "Oh, that's never going to clear. It's never going to clear." Okay, well, just see if it does. Let's just see what happens.
Whoa, 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 whoa. There's all kinds of sirens going off in my head. What do
Okay,
you
bring it.
mean that you buy and you agree on a $50 or the spot and then they just don't run it? Like what are we talking about here?
Well, they might say that to you just because they don't want to give that low of a rate.
Hmm. They want
Meaning,
to play the
mhm,
limited inventory scarcity
scare
from a
tactic.
selling component.
Mhm, mhm. Because they know if they could get you up just to 60, then maybe their station manager won't be like, "Man, who gave this rate out?" Or "This is our rate. You're going way below our rate card. This is going to skew." And you just have to know that at the end of the day, when you're negotiating with the stations, you want to say, "I'm looking to place an annual. Like I'm looking to place a significant amount of funding with you. And I'll meet you on a couple of areas." My personal, the way that I go about it is I put stars beside them and basically saying, I will not go below this number. This is my end all be all. But if it's on a program that I really, really want, then maybe I pull up short on a program that I kind of want to add on. It's not necessity, but it would be nice to have it as part of the buy. And maybe I concede a little bit there but I ask for the full negotiated what I want, my rate on the program that I really want. So it's a give and a take. The siren going off, don't panic. It doesn't mean that we're just going to let their buy, never see the light of day. This is all in the pre-planning phases when you're sitting down and you're combing through their actual lineup and you're saying, "Okay, I'm going to place an annual with you at this. And if we get blown out, then I'll come back to you. We'll redo it," because it's not doing anybody a favor. It's not doing a service to the client if the spot never airs. We want to be in that program.